Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now this is a story that's a little too sweet to resist. Karma always comes around, doesn't she? And I'd venture to guess that she's not done. So KP decided that now that Harry and Meghan are out of the way, they would swoop right on in and get that spotlight they've been craving. And they would step right into that vacuum created by the absence of the royal superstars, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And they are trying to, but little do they know, it's actually more difficult to get people to care about English royals now that we've all witnessed what happened to Harry and Meghan. They were the only royals that people actually cared about. Now they think that we're supposed to transfer that goodwill over to them just because Harry and Meghan are no longer in England. Think again, baby girl, because it doesn't quite work like that. And as we're seeing, not only would the remainders step into the spotlight after Harry and Meghan's exit, but they would use the COVID-19 crisis in which to do it. Now that's tragic. Now, what am I referring to specifically? I'll tell you what. Prince William got dragged up and through, all up and down and up and through those Twitter streets. Homeboy did an interview with some charity heads, obviously acting, and apparently one of the quotes that he's quoted as saying, posted by Sky News and Reuters on Twitter, he said, "England is at its best during a crisis."
Britain is at its best, weirdly, when we're in a crisis.
That's what the Prince of Thieves said about the people going through the crisis of the coronavirus. The guy is sitting in a literal palace while tens of thousands of people are dying and have died, while the conservative right wing, his pals, by the way, are calling for cuts to the NHS and arguing against pay raises for the people that they are now conveniently praising. Well, Karma is swift and she remembers everybody's name. And so let the dragging commence. And William didn't just get roasted. My man's got flamed. No holds barred. And honestly, what struck me was the fact that people dragging him for that statement weren't even Sussex supporters. It wasn't Sussex squad. Of course, there's always going to be Sussex supporters who will see the tweets and make a comment, but the vast majority of the people flaming him were not even Sussex squad. They were everyday English folks calling out the hypocrisy and airheadedness of their hairless heir. Now, the statement itself is so boneheaded. This is a person who's going to be the future king, and he's relying on old platitudes that might have worked 50 years ago. But they don't really work in 2020 when economic inequality is the worst that it's ever been in modern times. You have people making videos for Twitter and Instagram, celebrities singing to you, but not really doing anything, saying imagine no possessions, but they live in compounds and mansions, which is fine, but don't talk down to people. And I feel like that's what he's doing. Behind palace walls, if he wanted to, they could go to Admiral Hall, where they basically have all kinds of land surrounding them. They got servants, they got private vehicles, they can escape to an island if they felt like it. I bet people wish they could quarantine in Scotland like Prince Charles did. But yet he's telling people and trying to convince people that, oh, we're best in a crisis. No, you might be best in a crisis. The rest of everybody out here is trying not to die. Try not to get sick. Try not to get infected because they don't want their grandparent or somebody who is immunocompromised in their family to die. And I think the strangest thing about this brand new PR push from the remainders is that they have overstated their influence in the whole conversation. Repeatedly, they have misread the room and inserted themselves when no one asked for their input. And there's this false sense of, well, I'm going to be future king. I'm going to be on the throne one day. So, of course, people want to hear what I have to say. Not in the age of Twitter. Again, it's just like that celebrity video. They thought it was a good idea. And in their defense, they just have money. They don't have any real power, quote unquote. They thought they were doing a good thing, and that's fine. Somebody enjoyed it. but they got flamed for that. Nobody asked you to sing to me. If you want to do something, and then let other people talk about it. Don't try to make me feel good with your platitudes and off-key songs, trying to go viral and only end up going viral for the wrong reasons. The people who are best in this crisis are the healthcare workers, the EMT workers, the sanitation workers, the grocery store clerks and delivery people, the people who have volunteered their time and money to ensure that those worst impacted by this crisis have some kind of bridge to get them to the other side of the crisis. Well, here's what some of the people had to say about it. And I took this straight from Twitter. Miranda said, personally, I think Britain is at its best when everything is going swimmingly and 1,000 people a day aren't dying to a contagion we squandered 3 months warning to prepare for. But then no one cares what I think. Here's another reply. This from a guy who said people were overreacting. I remember him saying that in the beginning. And somebody replied to that. He can't unsay what he already said. Maybe he should just zip it and keep his thoughts to himself. Hear, hear. And I saw a lot of that. A lot of people letting him know that they hadn't forgot what he said just a few weeks earlier, which I'm going to get into in just a second. But here's one of my personal favorites. And people slag off Harry. This guy takes after his father and grandfather, gaffe after gaffe. Here's another one. The world is waking up, and thank God for social media. The monarchy's days are numbered. Prince Harry tried to educate them, but they refused. Gone are the days where people are worshipped because of their birthright, and William is too dumb and lazy to fake it. Now, see, that's a true statement. Honestly, he couldn't fake it if he tried. He's trying to fake it. He's trying to fake care, but people see right through it. And of course, here's the last one. A month ago, he was laughing at people who were taking the COVID-19 seriously. But okay. That's my reaction every time these people open their mouths. Okay. All right, sis. Okay, then. People have not forgotten what he said. And so if you don't know what people are referring to when they're mentioning that, when Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge were in Ireland just before Harry and Meghan's farewell tour, this is when things really started to pick up really worldwide for the coronavirus, at least from, in Europe and then going west to us. Prince William said, the Prince of Thieves said, Baldy Locks had said that the coronavirus is a little overhyped in the media. That is a quote. He said, the coronavirus is a little overhyped in the media, don't you think? And mockingly saying, oh, I'm dying. Oh, no, it's just a cough. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are spreading coronavirus. Sorry, do tell us if we need to stop.
I bet everyone's like, I'm not coronavirus, I'm dying. Like, no, you shouldn't. It does seem quite dramatic, it's being a little bit hands up, we think, in the By the way, Duke of Cambridge is spreading coronavirus. Sorry. So we're keeping an eye on that. So do tell us if we need to stop.
And understand, by this time, people had already been dropping like flies. The majority of the deaths were in China by that point, but the news was just starting to pick up in Western countries around the COVID-19. And this man was joking, saying that it's overhyped in the media and it's just a cough and it's just the flu. And this is y'all's king. Meanwhile, there's a graph of the people who have actually died, and that's just in the UK. Again, people tried to say that it's just the flu. Usually conservatives have said things like that. And if you recall, Trump called it a hoax. And it wasn't until Boris actually contracted the COVID-19 that he took it seriously. Well, the graph shows the average deaths for the seasonal flu in the UK for March, hovering around 1,000. Well, in this graph, the blue line represents COVID-19, and that line skyrockets to well above 2,500, which is more than double the average for the seasonal flu. Statistically speaking, that is astronomical. That's meteoric. and is alarming when you actually look at the graph. But now it's caught up to old Will. He's out here trying to look like the heroic, loving, dear leader that cares about what happens to people, and particularly these people who are funding his high-priced lifestyle, when again, just a few short weeks ago, he was cracking jokes about the citizens who would in fact die days later. Well, he got the dragging he deserved, and it shows that Harry and Meghan were right to remove themselves, and they're only going to be proven right over and over and over again. Y'all do realize that, right? Without Harry and Meghan, we're going to see who they really are. Never forget that Harry and Meghan was the shield. Their family was the shield for the larger family. Now Harry and Meghan on the West Coast doing their thing. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But we get to see the lackluster performance from those who wanted the attention all to themselves. Well, now you got it, baby girl. Let it burn. Because that spotlight is going to burn bright on you. And we're not going to let up, because now we're living in a time where people are actually ready to eat the rich. I don't necessarily subscribe to that philosophy, but I understand it. So before you go cracking jokes about people and then thinking you're going to come right on up in there and act like the heroic figure only to talk down to them, you need to realize people are not as dumb as you are. And they're going to make you pay for it one way or the other. So enjoy your spotlight, sis. We over here watching. I hope y'all got your snacks, because the show's just getting started. And I ain't never really been a fan of the circus, but I think this one might be worth the price of admission. So find your seats, ladies, because it's going to be a barn burner.